Ever found yourself on an emotional roller coaster where the highs are sky high, but the lows, well, they leave you in the depths? It's like you're strapped in with no control over the next terrifying twist or turn. But what if I said there's a way to grab the controls to steer yourself from chaos to calm? No, it's not some modern-day self-help gimmick. It's solid wisdom from a man who lived thousands of years ago, Epictetus. This Stoic philosopher knew a thing or two about managing emotions, and today, we're diving deep into his teachings to learn just how we can take back control. Meet Epictetus, not your everyday philosopher. Born into slavery, Epictetus endured a life that could have broken the spirit of any man. But instead of being defeated, he emerged as a beacon of wisdom and resilience. After gaining his freedom, Epictetus chose to dedicate his life to teaching others. His classroom? The very streets of ancient Rome. His students? Anyone willing to listen and learn. What set Epictetus apart wasn't just his remarkable journey from chains to profound wisdom, but the essence of his teachings. We don't have control over the events of our lives, but we do have control over how we respond to them. This simple yet powerful notion puts Epictetus at the heart of Stoic philosophy, making him a pivotal figure in discussions about personal freedom and emotional resilience. Epictetus, with his profound simplicity, draws a clear line between the world we can control and the one we cannot. At the heart of his philosophy lies the key to emotional mastery, understanding our emotional triggers. It's about distinguishing the external events that happen to us from our internal reactions to them. This discernment is crucial because it's often not the events themselves that unsettle us, but our interpretations and reactions to them. Imagine you're the captain of your own ship, navigating through life's unpredictable oceans. Some days the sea is calm, and other days, storm clouds gather on the horizon. Epictetus teaches us to recognize which storms are avoidable and which ones we must brave. More importantly, he shows us how to understand our emotional triggers, those deeply ingrained reactions we have to certain events, words, or people that can suddenly throw our ship off course. Identifying these triggers requires a level of self-awareness that doesn't come overnight. It's about paying attention to those moments when you feel your control slipping, when anger flares up, or when anxiety begins to whisper in your ear. These are the signs pointing to your emotional triggers. By acknowledging them, you're not giving them power. Instead, you're taking the first step towards regaining control. Epictetus teaches us to recognize the storms we can steer clear of and the ones we must weather, all through understanding our emotional triggers. This isn't about avoiding all negative emotions. That's impossible. It's about understanding why we react the way we do, and realizing that while we can't control the stormy seas of life, we can control how we sail through them. This insight is what transforms us from being at the mercy of our emotions to becoming the master of them. Epictetus shines a spotlight on a profound truth that's easy to overlook. Our perceptions hold immense power over our emotional lives. He famously said, "It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our view of them." This insight cuts to the heart of why we often find ourselves tangled in a web of stress, frustration, or disappointment. It's not necessarily the situation that's the problem, but how we perceive it. Let's break it down. Have you ever found yourself reacting to something, a comment, a delayed response, an unexpected change in plans, with a surge of emotion that, in hindsight, seemed disproportionate? That's a classic case of perception shaping emotional response. In moments like these, our perception has taken a relatively small issue and blown it up into something much larger and more distressing. Epictetus teaches us that by changing our perceptions, we have the power to change our emotional responses. Imagine you're facing a challenge that feels insurmountable, like a mountain blocking your path. By reassessing and shifting your perception, what once seemed like a mountain might begin to look more like a molehill, still there, but far less daunting and much more manageable. It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our view of them. If you've ever made a mountain out of a molehill, you've experienced this firsthand. Changing our perceptions can transform mountains back into molehills. This wisdom from Epictetus doesn't just apply to reducing negative emotions. It also opens the door to cultivating positive ones. By choosing to view challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and change as a chance for growth, we can navigate life with a more resilient and optimistic outlook. The power of perception, according to Epictetus, is the cornerstone of managing our emotions effectively. It's about taking a step back, examining our initial reactions, and asking ourselves if there's another way to look at the situation. This shift doesn't negate the reality of our experiences, but offers us a more empowering way to respond to them, ensuring that we remain the masters of our emotional ships, no matter the seas we sail. Drawing from Epictetus's treasure chest of wisdom, let's dive into some practical Stoic exercises and techniques that can help us steer through emotional turbulence with a steadier hand. Daily reflection. This is about taking a moment each day to reflect on your actions, reactions, and emotions. Think of it as checking the compass of your emotional ship. Keeping a journal can be incredibly helpful here. Write down instances when your emotions got the better of you, or when you managed to maintain your calm in a storm. This practice helps in identifying patterns in your emotional triggers and responses, allowing for better navigation in the future. The dichotomy of control. At the heart of Stoicism is understanding what is within our control and what is not. Each day, remind yourself of this simple yet powerful distinction. When faced with a situation, ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, you know where to direct your energy. If it's not, you'll find peace in letting go and focusing on how you respond instead. Premeditation of future events. Premeditatio malorum. This technique involves visualizing challenges or difficulties that might arise in the future. By doing this, you're not worrying unnecessarily. You're preparing yourself to face potential obstacles with grace and resilience. Imagine how you would handle these situations calmly and rationally. This mental rehearsal primes you to respond to life's challenges with a composed mindset rather than being caught off guard. Epictetus's teachings remind us that emotional management is not about suppressing our feelings, but understanding and guiding them. By practicing daily reflection, recognizing what's within our control, and preparing ourselves for what lies ahead, we can navigate life's seas with wisdom and equanimity. Bringing the wisdom of Epictetus into the 21st century means adapting his insights to our everyday lives, transforming ancient philosophy into practical, everyday strategies. Imagine you're faced with a project at work that's spiraling out of control, deadlines are looming, and the stress is mounting. Instead of succumbing to panic, channel Epictetus. Ask yourself, what aspects of this situation can I control? Focus your energy on those. Perhaps it's reallocating your time or resources, or simply adjusting your attitude toward the challenge. By applying the dichotomy of control, you transform overwhelming stress into manageable action steps. Mastering your emotions doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. But with Epictetus as your guide, you're on the path to becoming the calm in the storm. Epictetus's teachings empower us to navigate the complexities of the modern world with a steady hand and a tranquil heart. So, the next time you find yourself on that emotional roller coaster, remember, you have the tools to take control of the ride.